panel. Yeah, hello everyone. So yeah, this is today's panel. I think that's the first panel, maybe. Yeah. So this is Jeff from Hashkey Capital. I'm doing all the kind of the research and also due diligence for the Hashkey Capital. So yeah, for today's panel, we have speakers here. Khushboo, Khullar from Lightning Ventures, and Jademont Zheng from the Waterdrip Capital, Eric Chu from CMS Holdings, and Michele Anastasio from Fulgur Ventures. So yeah, so for starting off today's panel, so we can start by introducing the panelists. Maybe give us a short introduction by yourself. Yeah, maybe from Michele.
Yeah, so my name is Michele Anastasio. I'm with Fulgur Ventures. My background is in economics, and at Fulgur Ventures we invest in startups that are building on Bitcoin, precisely on Lightning. We've been in the space for a few years now, and we're just about to start investing again and deploy a new fund. So excited to see new Lightning developments.
Okay, this is Jademont from Waterdrip Capital. Before I entered crypto world, I was an engineer in microelectronics. That was 10 years ago. And in 2017, I co-founded Waterdrip Capital with two of my good friends. And since 2017, Waterdrip Capital has invested in over 200 projects covering almost all tracks. But since 2021, we have been focusing on Bitcoin eco investment, and I'll be very glad to discuss more about Lightning networks. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Khushboo, the venture partner and head of portfolio success at Lightning Ventures. I'm an ex-banker and a PhD in economics. And Lightning Ventures is a US-based VC firm where we invest in Bitcoin native startups. And recently also we have launched a brand new platform, a Reg CF platform called Thunder Funder, where even non-accredited investors can also invest. So we are looking to expand in Asia and Europe. So if you're building something groundbreaking in Bitcoin, Lightning, or First, you can reach out to us or go to our website. It's ltng.ventures.
Hey, my name is Eric. I'm from CMS. CMS is a proprietary hedge fund focused on trading and VC. Our main background is trading, and I previously was a quant researcher, trading global macro futures. With this trading background, a lot of the stuff we are focused on DeFi and dApps specifically that we use and we touch. And we're excited to see the Bitcoin ecosystem grow and excited to be on this panel talking about Lightning.
Okay, cool. So let's start today's panel. We also noticed today's panel topic is about the most important infrastructures after the blockchain. So my first question may be, so I want to ask all the panelists, do you believe this statement? Or maybe, so if it is yes or no, so maybe know the reason behind this. So yeah, so who want to take this first? Maybe from Eric?
Yeah, I think this is a very broad statement, and it depends how you define important. I mean, if you define it as like the infrastructure that powers the largest asset value, which is Bitcoin, and it's the largest transaction on it, then yes, by definition, it makes sense. And if you want to try to extrapolate what will happen in the future with all the potentials that there, I can make an argument for that also. But I think like important is, it's how you define it, right? But it's definitely an important piece of the infrastructure puzzle.
Probably important sectors also for investment. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, maybe Jademont, maybe.
Actually, usually I try to avoid some extreme word like the most important. So probably it's one of the most important. But actually, I would rather say it is the most worthy of expectation. So. Because actually Lightning Network has been many years. I'm not sure, it's like almost 10 years. And 2016, right? Yeah. 9 years almost. So actually it's very mature because they just launched their mainnet, although there are some bugs, but I think it's getting mature, or almost mature. So, but if you check the cap table of Lightning Network and some Lightning eco projects, you can see that the investors is not that fruitful. Only a few institutional investors are focusing on this ecosystem. This means probably it's undervalued, valued, So this is great opportunity. So we see, so we always enter an area that is not noticed by most of the people. And after everybody is talking about Lightning Network, probably that's the time we exit, right? So, so this is why I thought that it is the most worthy of expectation.
Maybe the most important and also the most undervalued. Maybe I say, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So how about Michele?
Yeah, I mean, I will probably go as far as saying that I do think it's one of the most important pieces of tech today in the space. If we think what's been possible to achieve thanks to Lightning with near instant settlement, essentially limitless TPS, and that's been working already for a number of years. I guess that paves the way for all upcoming innovations to be built on Lightning, through Lightning natively on Bitcoin. So I think even indirectly perhaps, but it does have a very prominent role in the future of the industry, I think.
Cool. Okay, since all the investors on the panel, we all believe that maybe so this is quite important piece, quite important infrastructure for the industry. So you are all the investors. So we'd like to know your investment thesis, especially maybe related to the Lightning networks. So how your strategy, how your ideas when you see a Lightning network project. So maybe you can start from Michele. Maybe this.
Yeah, I think I gave away a bit of the answer to this question with my previous answer. We think that a lot of economic activity is going to be on Lightning. So we see that layer as powering a lot of what's going to come next. So our thesis is whatever can make the Lightning network a more successful payment layer for Bitcoin is going to increase value. Right now we've got Bitcoin, the asset, and on top of that we see Lightning as the payment layer, which is working pretty well, and we see that then fitting into whatever other more sophisticated applications. So our thesis is these pieces fit very well together, and there's going to be a multiplier, I think, on the overall value that can be captured.
How about Jademont?
Well, if you look at the whole crypto world, there are probably more than 100 investment themes, DeFi, Layer 2, ZK, etc. And there are probably more than 100 Ethereum Layer 2 projects, probably more than 100 ZK projects. But if you look into Lightning ecosystem, you cannot find so many projects. So that's why it's not difficult to invest in Lightning ecosystem. You just look at their team and to see whether they can achieve what they promised and then invest in them. So for example, we invested in the previous speaker, RNFi. That is a project combining non-stop protocol with Lightning Network. And we invested in BitTap, that is a wallet, to onboard some users for Lightning Network. And we invested in UX/UI, that is DEX based on Lightning Network, and we invested in Fountain, that is a podcast application for based on Lightning Network, and a few others. So you can, there's no competition. So for ZK or for Layer 2, we have to compete with the top tier institutional investor like A16Z or Polychain. You cannot get quota at a lower value, but in Lightning ecosystem, we always invest in the first round and with best price and best team. So this is we are so lucky, So yeah, that's my answer.
In fact, you mentioned LN5, so LN5 is our potential deal, and in fact, Fountain is our portfolio company. So yes, in fact, if I talk about from a business perspective, venture funding means highest risk. So in fact, the ROI following the power law where one startup is gonna return the entire fund. So from that perspective, when we invest, we look at the outliers. We look at a brilliant team who has an exceptional pedigree of founders. We look at what they have built in past, how's the team structure, and apart from that, if they have any unique insight, if they have any peculiar, so we do look at if they can disrupt the industry, if they have a massive Tamsam song. And to summarize, I would say, exceptional founders building on exceptional venture ideas on Lightning Network and having exceptional Tamsam SOM and around Bitcoin standard, because we are looking for venture ideas that are outliers. Yeah.
Yeah, I echo everything that everyone said here. Specifically on the subject of Lightning, and then specifically on founders, I think the founders building on Lightning need to be even have more perseverance than normal founders, because I think the time horizons are longer. So look for those who understand that, and then maybe it's like some of the other, if you launch on another protocol, there will be more hype initially. So it's just like a longer trek, and the vision has to be unchanged, and the founder must truly believe that, and not easily get swayed. So I think, of course, it's always important when looking at early stage to look at founders, but even more so in this particular subset of crypto.
Yeah, because people is very important. I think maybe the most important we see when we before we invest in a project. So, but beside the people, there's also since Lightning Network is also involved lots of the technicals, designs, and also the products. So I'm not sure what kind of the trends and also the innovations you have seen in the maybe past several months, and what do you foresee? There's some innovations in the Lightning networks that you can. Maybe some team are building right now, it can outcompete maybe some other sectors from perspective of the investor. So maybe from Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the most adjacent and easiest to see where Lightning can take over would be the stablecoin transfers, right? So right now, I think Tron does most of the USDT transactions, but there's not that much on a TPS basis. It's just a lot of volume. So it's very easy to paint the story of how Lightning could potentially just surpass that. I mean, there's a reason why people want to use Bitcoin, right? Just more secure. There's a reason why, for instance, when people say, hey, I'm going to launch an NFT on ETH and it's going to be secured by the value of ETH, well then theoretically, wouldn't a more secure chain like Bitcoin be even better for NFTs? And you can make the argument that payments is even more important for that regard. So I would say that the stablecoin transaction is probably the easiest one.
I would name a few. I mean, one, a bridge between Liquid and Lightning. In fact, we have a portfolio company that's doing this stuff. It's Jan3. Apart from that, Taproot assets and issuance of synthetics like stable coins on Lightning Network. And in fact, I'm very bullish on BitVM, ARC, and DLC as well.
Well, I think the best track within the whole Lightning ecosystem is Lightning Network plus DeFi. So this seems impossible right now, but it has a great future. So for example, actually, right now there are only about 5,000 Bitcoin, staked in the whole Lightning Network. That is very small compared with Bitcoin Layer 2 or Bitcoin DeFi, right? But actually, because Lightning Network has some real application scenario. So for example, payment. So recently there's a word of very popular PayFi, right? That's the best battlefield of Lightning Network. And if we can take advantage of the staked beacon in the state channel, because for Lightning payment, you have to stake some beacon first. And if any DeFi protocol can take advantage of this beacon, and that will help the Lightning network to grow. This is one. And the second is how to combine Lightning network with other ecosystem. For example, Bitcoin EVM compatible layer 2 or other public chains like Ethereum. So because Lightning network is the best in terms of payment, and probably for EVM compatible ecosystem, they will, abandon their own payment solutions because that's too slow and very expensive. And probably they will count on Lightning network to do the payment, and they do the rest. For example, the DeFi thing. And the only issue left is how to do the question, how to move the fund from Lightning staked channel to other EVM ecosystem or vice versa. Yeah, this is anyways, I think that we really need to explore more opportunities regarding DeFi. Yeah, not only payment.
Yeah, I'll double down what's been said. I think the one clear thing is stablecoin. Of course, it's that one use case that's proven strong product market fit in the industry. But other than that, I think everything else that can increase the usability and compatibility of Lightning with other protocols. So, for example, Liquid's been mentioned. That's connecting that into Lightning really opens up a bunch of new opportunities. We're seeing a lot of tokenization opportunities at the institutional level there, but we're also excited about RGB and how its compatibility with Lightning is going to really unlock new unprecedented opportunities. So I guess if I had to pick just a few, these three would be the kind of strongest themes.
May I summarize here is that like maybe from stablecoin, temporary assets, Bitcoin DeFi, especially integrated with Lightning Network. So that's maybe there's also a buzzword called BTC-Fi recently. So maybe we can build some applications about that. So yeah, and also temporary assets. So so how about we just start next question? So maybe starting from the stablecoins. So we noticed that like stablecoin could be issued later on. Like maybe Tether can issue some stable coins just through like maybe the protocol like RGB and also the temporary assets. So what kind of like maybe how do you foresee the payments in the Lightning networks after this kind of stablecoin could be issued? Because right now you have to pay like Trump this morning, they have to pay the Bitcoins for a cup of coffee. That's for me, I think that's quite expensive for me because I have to pay the expensive, quite valuable Bitcoins for coffee. So I'm not sure. How do you foresee if there's a stablecoins on Lightning network? So how about starting from Michele?
Yeah, I think the UX is going to really make the difference, right? We're probably going to have the same issues that we have today with Lightning in the sense of how do we crack that experience of, seamlessly and non-custodially opening and closing channels as needed. But I guess, there are companies working on this right now, so I think that's not going to be a problem at the end of the day. And the moment we do have stablecoins issued on Lightning, on RGB, that UX is going to enable the adoption of stablecoins on the protocols, respectively.
Well, I think the most important reason that Lightning Network was not developing as fast as people expected is it lacks stablecoin. So stablecoin will be the real game changer of the whole ecosystem. If we recall the history of stablecoin, we know that the first stablecoin actually was issued on Bitcoin network. It's on Omni layer, right? And then it moved to Ethereum because it's a lower cost, and then moved to the most Dakota moved to Tron network. So because it's even more cheaper. But right now, actually, the expense of Tron network is more expensive than Ethereum. This is ridiculous, but people is used to using Tron as USDT transfer network. So I think if the if Tether will issue, I think it's actually they already announced that they have the plan to issue USDT on Lightning Network or RGB. RGB and Lightning Network, they are close, right? So if they really issue USDT on Lightning Network, I think the whole Bitcoin eco will snatch back the stablecoin market. Yeah, this is what I'm expecting. And we actually invested a few projects, not only one, not only two, a few projects that is prepared for the issue of USDT on Lightning Network.
Eric?
Yeah, I completely agree with everything everyone said here. Just in continuation with the history lesson, I think people underestimate how powerful maybe the stablecoin are, especially just from a UX perspective, but also like the stablecoins enabled ETH DeFi. That's what kickstarted everything with USDC. You can look at the USDC market cap before DeFi started and then after DeFi started. Like 30 billion USDC now, but that's after Gary Gensler did his thing. It was at high as 80 billion. Started from less than 1 billion. And then also, from a trader perspective, before like the perpetuals exchanges, BitMEX made BTC-based perps. They were like kind of successful, but like what really kickstarted the entire volume was dollar-denominated perps. Like people just think in terms of like stable coins and dollars, right? It's like it's hard to think in terms of like Bitcoin. So like it's a huge. I think people are underestimating how big of a UX unlock it will be. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's one topic of stablecoin. Maybe another topic is that we also mentioned about PayFi. So I'm not sure. So I believe that the PayFi is maybe proposed by Solana ecosystem recently. So I'm not sure. Maybe can you share us maybe more insights about like the difference, what kind of differences between the payment on Lightning networks and with the PayFi projects recently? So I'm not sure if anyone interested in taking this question.
I'll start first. Let's start from what Donald Trump just did this morning. So actually this happened many times among my friends. So I think probably in a few years, Donald Trump will realize that that hamburger was the most expensive hamburger he purchased, and because the price of Bitcoin will go up gradually, and if you purchase the hamburger using stablecoin, because behind those stablecoin that is U.S. currency, right, and for fiat it's always inflationary. So if you buy a hamburger right now, in a few years, and you will realize that okay, that hamburger was very cheap. So this is what I'm thinking. And talking about PayFi, so first of all, the stablecoin has to be, the Tether or our Circle has to issue the stablecoin first, based on Lightning Network. This is step one. And step two is for Lightning Labs, they are focusing on Lightning technology itself. It's not expanding their development into many application scenarios. I think it's the job of some eco projects, for example, ARM5 or other startups. They need to figure out what Lightning Network can do, except for payment. Because Lightning Lab has resolved all the payment issues, or about to resolve all the bugs, right? But PayFi is not only payment. PayFi is not equal to payment. PayFi means payment plus DeFi. So there are a lot of proved efficient DeFi tools. For example, staking, restaking, or RET or perps. So in other public chain ecosystem. So PayFi means we need to figure out how Lightning payment can be integrated or can be combined with all of those other DeFi tools. For example, as I said, we need to take advantage of the staked Bitcoin first, use it as collateral or use it as the yield basis, or we can consider using the credibility of the channel. For example, you are big, because in Lightning network, there's a term called credibility of the nodes, right? You can use the credibility of the nodes to get some loan, get some. So that is some application scenario for lending protocol. So credible lending protocol, right? So I think there are a lot of innovative stuff will happen. It's happening in Lightning Network. So this is the only thing we need to wait. The only thing we need to do is to wait the startups, with the new ideas. Yeah, and this is the PayFi, and it has great potential, I think.
Add one more point in the Lightning that you touched on. I think if on Bitcoin L1, if there is more acceptance by institutions, then there will be more use cases built on L2, and that will lead to more mass adoption. And if we talk about L2, if I do a count, there are around like 80, which is a good number. Which is, I know it's early, but still it's a good number, and there will be more founders coming in, and it'll be it has a good future.
So yeah, due to the time reasons, so maybe the last questions for today's panel is, since you also you all invested in lots of the Lightning Network teams, so what kind of the opportunities and also the risk your portfolio company have seen in the past? And I believe for today's in our meeting room, there's a lots of the teams are building on the Lightning Network right now. So I'm not sure what kind of suggestions you would give for the teams still building in the Lightning Network. So maybe starting from Michele.
Yeah, I think one of the both risks and opportunities of building on Lightning in the past was being so early, right? That posed both as a big risk because there was nothing certain, but also was a big opportunity. If you started building on Lightning 6 years ago, you probably were the only one, right? So that kind of gave you more a stronger advantage. But for who's building on Lightning now, I think there's much more certainty. There's a lot more software that can be leveraged to just kickstart any project. And I think the way to look at it is probably in a creative sense and trying to understand where new combinations can arise with all of this new blooming ecosystem of layer 2s and then scaling solutions and programmable solutions on Bitcoin.
Well, because the mainnet of the Taproot asset has just been launched, so I think for Lightning Network, the biggest problem it is facing is not technical. It's about marketing. So if I remember correctly, at the beginning of Zheng network, so this is most USDT existing there, and they spend a lot of time and resource on marketing. They have some, they talked with a lot of centralized exchange and talked with a lot of companies to utilize their USDT. And if you don't promote your technology or promote your product, no one will just use it. They will select other products because Lightning Network is not the only option. They have Solana, they have Ethereum, and other solutions. So this is actually what I'm worrying about. So from my perspective view, Lightning Lab is too technical. Yeah, it's correct. They are a technical company. They are doing really well, but that's not enough. So I think in our ecosystem, we need a more commercial company to lead all the commercial stuff. For example, the marketing thing, and to integrate Lightning Network with all of the traditional business payment, like a Visa or etc. So this is the biggest problem we are facing, I think.
I think I'll talk from a business perspective here. I think the risks and opportunities are lopsided as of now. Even if you see the technological adoption curve for Lightning, it's quite new. and it's gonna take time for sure. Lightning Labs is doing fantastic stuff. I'm a big fan, and in fact we do closely watch out them if they're working on taproot assets. We do look at such startups, and I mean, we are always keen on. If you talk about the VC space, also there are very few VCs who invest in Bitcoin startups, and if you look at the number of deals that's been happening in Bitcoin, and then in Lightning, the number is still low. So we need more VCs. We are competing with traditional startups. We are competing with traditional VCs. And if you look at the fund size, a traditional VC fund size is quite big. I mean, if I talk about the numbers, then Bitcoin VC space, maximum fund would be $100 million, but we're looking at a $1 billion fund. We don't have that as of now. Very hopeful, very optimistic. Somewhere, I mean, we'll be there. And if I talk about the opportunities, I think cross-border payments, remittances, gig workers doing remote work, or micro payments, these are the opportunities that still, I mean, we have a long way to go, and we are still using Swift technology. I mean, it's a 70-year-old business. We are still having intermediaries in between. I can email from anywhere, any part of the world, but I cannot transfer my money as, I can do it with an email. I mean, we're still struggling, so, but I'm very hopeful.
Yeah, I would add on to everything. I would say hyper-focus on UX and iterate fast, but that's not really a Lightning thing. In particular with Lightning, as it pertains to maybe stuff that other chains have done, like Jademont mentioned, like on ETH, there's been many DeFi applications. So if you're building something similar on like Lightning, just pay attention to what they did well, what they did not well, and then how Lightning enables you to do certain things that maybe you couldn't do on ETH DeFi or vice versa on like Sol DeFi or something. So just pay attention to where you have subject matter expertise and rapidly iterate on that superior point.
So the Lightning is promising and still has lots of things to do, like UX, like liquidity, all the Bitcoin DeFi, those kind of things. Okay, so yeah, I think that's the end of today's panel. And thanks for all the insights for the panelists. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.